Hey you, yeah you who clicked on this video. Thanks for giving our channel a shot. And if you will, please do us the honor of watching the video all the way through. Appreciate it. Now onto the video.
Single female lawyer fighting for her client, wearing sexy mini skirts and being self-reliant. Hey, I'm pretty good.
So, this is going to be a recap of the latest episode of She-Hulk, episode 3, The People v. Emil Blonsky. So, in this episode, we pick up where Jennifer left off. Basically, after being really gung-ho about representing Emil Blonsky, she is then given the bombshell information that he may or may not have participated in a prison break and gone to fight in an underground kumite as the Abomination. When she goes to the prison to ask Blonsky about this activity, of course, she is then rebuffed by Blonsky, who tells her that he is in fact innocent. He had nothing to do with the prison break, but rather was broken out of prison by none other than the current Sorcerer Supreme Wong. As if Dr. Strange didn't need any more disrespect, here we go again. So, then we get a basically indignant Jennifer telling the Abomination that she will then question Wong to find out whether or not the story is true. And we get a dumb wink and nod moment again, where basically the writers are trying to acknowledge the fact that up until this point, the show has really been more about cameos and special guest appearances than it has been about She-Hulk, but they want to reassure the audience that the show is in fact about She-Hulk. And then we get a huge exposition dump via news reports and a bunch of projection from the writers, who basically are bemoaning passive-aggressively that the fans' displeasure with the MCU and with all of the female superheroes and, you know, not enough male superheroes and blah, 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 blah. Look, I don't know how many times we have to say this. The fans don't care about there being female heroes. Nobody cares about that because they're Marvel fans. If you're a Marvel fan and you're watching the She-Hulk series, newsflash, you don't care whether or not the hero has a different set of plumbing downstairs or identifies as male or female. No, what you care about is that these stories adhere at least somewhat to canon, which, spoiler alert, they don't. And that's why the fans are upset, because you're bastardizing really cool characters. You did it with Carol Danvers. You did it with Monica Rambeau. You did it with Scarlet Witch. You did it with Black Widow, and now you're doing it with She-Hulk. So, excuse me if the fans aren't just woefully overjoyed with the prospect of having another beloved character basically bastardized by writers and directors. I'm talking to you, Miss Gal, who have never read a fucking She-Hulk book. But I digress. So, we then get to see Jennifer at the law firm again. CGI is looking terrible as ever, looking all Shrek'd up. And now, for whatever reason, I don't know how you mess up wardrobe for a CGI character, but she is now wearing these, what I can only describe as ill-fitting men's clothing. And I don't really understand the reason for this, but maybe the end credit sequence has something to do with it, but it's like she's a high-powered attorney who apparently can't afford a tailor. Like, I really don't understand this, especially given that the last episode, her clothing seemed a lot more complimentary of her measurements as opposed to whatever the hell this is. This baggy bullshit. Looking like she just came like straight off the rack at Men's Warehouse, bro. Like, what's going on? So, then we get more forced misogyny as far as Jennifer's former co-worker. Oh God, Mr. I'm trying not to say the word Bukowski. God, they give these supporting characters bad names. Anyway, who is now looking at Jennifer's firm to represent him in a superhero involved, or actually powered person involved case involving an Asgardian light elf who can change her appearance, and who basically grifted him out of I think $170 $1,000 worth of gifts by posing as the cameo of this episode, Megan the Stallion. And so, a bunch of really just cliche back and forth goes on. And then Wong shows up at the most appropriate time so that Jennifer doesn't have to deal with this. But this basically just introduces a B story and a distraction from the main story, which people care about, to another lawyer story involving people that we don't care about. So, then we get a bunch of pointless name dropping and ass kissing by Jennifer about Megan the Stallion for whatever reason. And, it's just annoying. So Wong, as he corroborates Blonsky's story, then tells Jennifer that he's willing to help do anything that he can to exonerate Blonsky, but up until erasing memories, which he's not cool with. But he is more than happy with sending Blonsky, aka the Abomination, to an alternate dimension. So then we get more lame side story crap, and it's revealed that Bukowski is basically a cake boy delusional simp, because again, they can't really write male characters in any functional way. They have to degrade them in order to make She-Hulk seem awesome and the other female characters seem awesome, which I just don't see what the need for is, because She-Hulk as a character in the comics is an awesome character. Anyway, so then the shapeshifter tries to fool Bukowski's lawyer, and he's obviously not going for it because he gets a call from Bukowski, so he knows that this shape-shifting elf is basically trying to pull shenanigans. Alright, so then we have Jennifer going to the parole board at the prison, hearing a rumor as she's going through the line of journalists that she had been rejected by the Avengers, which is kind of funny. And then we get to see all of Blonsky's soulmates, which he mentioned in the previous episode, so I thought that was interesting, kind of funny. And they're, there to support him through his parole hearing. So the parole board asked Blonsky straight up, did he feel like he had been rehabilitated? To which he gives a very long, drawn-out explanation. And, of course, Jennifer doing what Jennifer does. She, of course, interrupts him because she is the interrupter-in-chief. Maybe for the good this time, but, man, it's, like, really a pattern with her. Like, apparently no man can speak in her presence and finish a sentence without her, like, jumping in there. Like, double dutch. Anyway. So, then Wong, who shows up after all the other character witnesses, including like prison guards and other personnel, he shows up to testify on the Abomination's behalf, and basically corroborates the whole story again to the parole board. Then they remind him that yeah, he may or may not have committed a felony by doing what he did. He absolutely committed a felony. And then Wong says, oop, exit stage right, jumps in a portal, leaves. Now, after this, oh god, we get more of the B story, right? And essentially, the light elf, her representation first tries this really lame diplomatic immunity style argument and is immediately shot down by the judge. Then they try to claim that the two were in a consensual coupling and that her changing shape was only a form of roleplay. After which the shapeshifter Runa decides that she's going to impersonate the judge, which should have equaled a mistrial immediately and got her sent into jail, but somehow that doesn't happen because, whatever. So then we go back to Jennifer, who continues to defend Blonsky, and Blonsky basically, after being confronted with the idea that he could change into the Abomination at any time and lose control, he then decides to show the parole board unprovoked that he can not only change into the Abomination at will, but also change back. And it's a funny scene. There's a huge overreaction given that he is in a cell, but this does demonstrate the idea that being that he is in control of his transformations, he could have broken out of prison at any time if he wanted to, but instead he didn't want to pay his debt to society. So that's pretty cool. So again, they want to charge Wong with felony, and he's out of there. He's gone like yesterday. So as Jennifer leaves the prison, a reporter basically shits on the canon once again, by dismissing the actual She-Hulk origin story about a failed mob hit resulting in her getting the Hulk DNA and then transforming into the She-Hulk, and they basically hand wave it away as just a rumor, because again, fuck Ken, right? Then Jennifer goes to her favorite watering hole to whine and complain about her client situation, and we get another stupid wink and nod at the camera, because that's apparently a thing that has to happen more and more each episode. So then Jennifer testifies for Bukowski, and basically she's trying to testify on his behalf with the argument that he's a gross delusional idiot, because that's what all men are apparently in this series, and so he would be stupid enough to believe that the person that he is attempting to court is in fact Megan Thee Stallion, and Megan Thee Stallion is in fact interested in him. So that was apparently a compelling enough argument to win them the case. Then we get a shot of the real Megan Thee Stallion. She does some ratchet bullshit, and we move on. Then Dennis Bukowski unwillingly gives Jennifer a great idea, which basically will help her in her case defending Blonsky. So then we flash forward to Blonsky being granted parole based on the tech that Bruce created in order to inhibit his transformations. So essentially, Jennifer did nothing, Bruce saves the day via his inventions, and Jennifer gets all the credit. But what else is new? So then we have a TV interview in which Blonsky, right before that, Blonsky gives Jennifer some good advice about basically just, you know, taking control of the narrative, basically, instead of letting people just write stories about her. So she takes this advice, and during a TV interview, which the CGI for some reason is able to improve in this moment, but not in the scenes prior to where she basically looks like Fiona from Shrek. So we get that happening. Then as Jennifer is, I guess, walking, it looks like she's walking either to or away from a really large house. She is then attacked by some people with some, I guess, Asgardian tech. She hulks out, beats the brakes off of them real quick, and then it's revealed that they were after a sample of her DNA, but they couldn't get it because they're idiots and they didn't think that to use the element of surprise to stick the syringe in her when she was Jennifer, and, you know, not when she was She-Hulk. But, you know, stupid. Then we get the most cringe-worthy moment of all time in the Marvel Universe. We get an after-credits sequence featuring a guest appearance by Megan Thee Stallion, in which her and CGI She-Hulk engage in synchronized twerking for whatever reason. I don't know why. And it's just, I don't even have words for how stupid this is and contrived. This had to have been shot after this episode was shot, because just like the B story, it seems like there's a lot of projection, a lot of writers trying to basically passive-aggressively whine and complain and bitch at the audience, and a B story that's just filler because they don't have enough for Jennifer to do episode to episode. This was just really stupid. I mean, I honestly just don't get it, but maybe you guys get it. Maybe it appealed to you. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. If you thought it was just a great episode, best thing since sliced bread, or if you thought that this was worse than the time that Megan Thee Stallion lied about getting shot in the foot. Hit me up in the comments. We'll see you on the next one. 8-Bit Heroes out. Peace. If you'd like to get a shout out on the channel, then hit that like button, maybe share it with a couple of friends, and do us the biggest honor of all, and subscribe to the channel so you can join the 8-Bit Heroes family. And while you're at it, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when our new videos come out.